So I went out to an appointment the other afternoon. I think it was at 2 o'clock, and I had Rob with me, just doing some observation. And the appointment was with a couple named Mr. and Mrs. Hammer. They're in kind of far, I guess it was considered Spring Branch, but beautiful home out on some property. They own their own IT business. Mr. travels most days out of the week. I think he's traveling 3-4 days out of the week, and he's home the other couple days. So it doesn't have a lot of time to be around the house, but very meticulous, very much. I like to fix my own house and take ownership, and just a really good family guy, really, is what it boils down to, is he wants his house to be taken care of for the sake of his family. So we were talking, visited with him, and, just in conversation, we found out that his dad just literally passed away like a couple days prior to us being there. And then as we kind of started talking and getting a little bit more familiar and comfortable with him, he had shared that his mom had passed away in November of last year. So it was a lot, obviously, as the story started to build and we started to learn a little bit more and more about him. Very tough guy, kind of very, very much together, very much a man's man, a family guy, definitely likes to take care of his family, and he takes pride in that. But you could tell he was really broken up by this exceptional amount of loss in a really short period of time. So we got to listen to him talk about that and share a little bit of his memories. He had a back house that both his parents lived in before they passed away, and actually passed away. Both of them passed away in that house. So got a chance to listen to him, first of all, just talk about that and kind of reminisce and share some of his memories. His dad, before he passed away, would do little things around the house, whether it would just repairing some mortar or, fixing some door hinges. So he's very much a handy guy, which is obviously where he gets it. But as he was telling us, as he was telling Rob and I these stories, you could see just this joy bubbling up in him, getting to talk about his dad, who was no longer, with us. So it was just an awesome, time, just letting him talk, and obviously him feeling like that was a safe enough place for him to do that. And meanwhile, Rob and I are kind of looking at each other when he was telling us all this happened. His kids were in town. His adult kids were at the house. So there's probably, 6, 7, 8 people in there, because his kids had their spouses, and, there's all this activity and people. And we're just wondering, like, what the heck are we doing here? Like, why are we running a sales appointment right now, in the midst of, I think we were there on a Thursday and the funeral was Saturday. So it was just all this stuff going on, not to mention the emotion of a recent, kind of traumatic experience. So just couldn't understand why we were there. But, again, just throughout our time there, we were there for about 5 hours because there was just a lot of work and a lot of discussion to be had about the work. But, it came up multiple times where he would reminisce and tell stories about his dad, or talk about ways that his mom, cared for them or did little things to make their day better. And as we came back in the house to sit down at the table after walking around and doing some inspection stuff, I just felt like I needed to ask to pray with him. So we did that. We sat there and prayed, and all this flurry of activity and, kids in different rooms and people upstairs, downstairs, were, all now downstairs. And there was just this silence that came over the entire downstairs. And, you could almost feel it. It's not just that you could hear it. Everything just got still. And it was just, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on, but it very much seemed like everybody knew it was what their dad needed. And for, for the wife, Gina, it was what she knew he needed. So it's just a very weird how still and how quiet everything got. It's like everybody was listening as we prayed for a couple minutes for him and for the family. Just a strange way of just comforting. Can't really explain it, but again, I can't help but think that God had us there for a purpose. A lot of the project is surrounding the inheritance and what may come of that. So we didn't get the job, but, nonetheless, I just can't help but avoid the idea that we were there for a different reason. One, to listen to him, and secondly, to actually take time to pray for him and to have whatever impact that had, not only on him, but for the house full of people that, like I said, as soon as I started to pray for him, everybody just kind of, seemed to stop in their tracks and listen. And I didn't open my eyes. I don't know if everybody's head was bowed or whatever, but it was just a really kind of supernatural kind of feeling as far as what was going on as we prayed for the family. So it's a pretty cool thing, and I'm glad Rob was there to see that as well, just to take part in that and be on that ride along, which again I don't think was a fluke either. So pretty cool interaction with Mr. and Mrs. Hammer.